press a button. Oh, there we go. Now we're live.
Yeah, we're live. So thanks, John, for saying that. Otherwise, I would be just talking offline. So, hey guys, not sure how many there are yet. We've decided to do a quick Q&A for US and European sellers that might have any questions. I'm here with John from Sellercandy. I'm Marian from EXPANDO. We can start with, could you tell us more about what you guys do, John?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for having us, Marianne. And if you are watching, we can't tell if you're there. So if you comment below where you see us, like I'm here, it should pop up in our comments on the right-hand side of our screen because of the joys of StreamYard. So yeah, I mean, I'm John, CEO of Sellercandy. What we do is our belief is the worst part about selling on Amazon is dealing with Amazon themselves. So what we do is we act as your advocate in the Amazon Seller Central ecosystem. So we are basically a team of over 40 ex-Amazon seller support agents. We have our own portal. You log outcomes with us, and then we do whatever it takes to make that happen, whether it's creating a flat file, a plan of action, reinstating a listing. Like we are your personal seller support team who is actually on your side, and will never send you a template that makes you want to break your computer screen.
Thanks for that. I mean, I can vouch for that. We've been working with Sellercandy for some time, and we've tried how it works. It's really good. And if anyone needs any help with dealing with seller support and with Amazon, you should definitely try. For our side, we are EXPANDO. We are based in Europe, and we've been doing this. We've been helping companies to basically grow on marketplaces for over 8 years now. And what we do is basically almost everything but the stuff that John talked about. So we do full service account management, and we try to get the company out there, start with from creating the account and how to actually list the products, how to then use PPCs, and how to build the brand or build the let's say cash flow if you are a wholesaler. And currently we are actively trying to help also clients that would like to join European marketplaces from the rest of the world, which is a task that some might find challenging. So that's that. We have some questions already.
Yeah. If you want, I can be the maestro because I think these are questions for you, which is a question from Nicola saying, what service do you offer to help us expand into the UK?
So into the UK, that would be on myself. So I would assume it's either from Europe or from the US. So in order to expand to the UK, you first of all need a VAT. So we can cover that. We will help with that. Then you would obviously need an Amazon account in .co.uk. And then help with logistics. So you should get a warehouse. We can help with that. And then based on if you are either a brand owner or a wholesale, that's basically the question. Then we would either create a channel on how to get the products there, or if you are a brand owner, how to basically get your brand to show on Amazon UK and start selling there. So it's something that might take some time, but we've done that before, and it works. If you have any more questions, could you specify on what service? It's a full service.
I've got a question for that then. Clarification on that, which is for wholesalers. So you can help wholesalers go international as well. Are there any limitations on that? Because I haven't really heard about wholesalers expanding internationally before.
Well, the only limitation I can think of is getting enough stock quickly enough into the marketplace. So if you're a wholesaler in the US, for example, and you run your shop and you have a lot of SKUs, you're obviously not going to ship them from US to the UK because either it will be too expensive or it might take a lot of time. So in that case, we first try to analyze which products would be like a I would say evergreens or top sellers, and then we go with those. We do like a normal freight, and then we sell from UK as an FBM or MFN. Or if some retailers or wholesalers have really good, funnels to Europe, or are able to do them, and then they basically can sell almost the same as in their home marketplace, but with the addition of EPRs and VATs, which are legislative things that you need to take care of in Europe.
Okay, yeah, very cool. And then how do you? No, I'm asking questions now, but how do you charge for that?
Yeah. Well, for the EPR, we don't charge. We basically make the connection. We basically create your European account with the entity that will charge you, and it's charged. I would, top of my head, it's pennies per product, because they are counting against the packaging. And for the VATs, it's also not straightforward for the VATs, because it depends how many you would want to have, but it's around $300 per registration, and then based on how much you sell. But it doesn't go higher than, I would say, 1,000 a year per country on VAT. We are also not the ones who are actively filing for the VATs, for the taxes. We use our partners. So that would be for those two. There are some more questions. I can read one for you, John. What do you think will be Amazon's next big move in e-commerce?
That's a good question. I mean, it's interesting because I live in Asia, so I live other side of the world, and I feel like a lot of what Amazon's introducing is stuff that was introduced here, 5 years ago. So things like live selling, people actually talking about products, showing the product, and then, people actually watching people demonstrate products, almost like QVC was in the US, but literally live. So they have lots of live streaming here of people selling products on the different platforms like Shopee, Lazada. It's very similar to Amazon, but it's just the one that's in Asia where I live. And they've just done a massive deal with TikTok, haven't they? So I think it's all about live and like direct people showing products and then people buying those products, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? Because I guess a lot of that leads to more impulse purchases at the lower end of just like, if you're just doom scrolling until somebody just comes along and like, oh yeah, I'll buy this for 10, $20. Or maybe there's something else in there for like getting people to do live reviews, which I don't know, for your product, and then directly they sell it on the back end.
Yeah, that might be interesting. I think definitely it might be the future, and if they are able to connect it with some social media as well, which Amazon is quite picky in what they are partnering up with, then it might be very interesting, and maybe the next big move. I know about one more thing, and that would be AI implementation in and they say improving the listings, but we all know how this might go. So you guys work with fixing and improving listings like a lot, I suppose. So what do you think happens if that happens?
Well, I mean, it's already happening with titles and bullets, and Amazon auto-enrolled some people, which messed with everything for a while.
All right.
As of, is it yesterday or today? Amazon's rolling out an update where you can't have certain emojis and certain characters in your bullets. And they're saying that if you don't do that, they will shove it into their AI machine. So if anyone's watching this and thinks, what should I do today? You should go through your listings and check you don't have any of the specific characters or emojis in it, because you don't want Amazon to mess with your listings, because once you do that, it's harder to get it out of Amazon's AI auto-generation system. So currently not there yet. But when it gets there, it's going to be scary, isn't it? Because it means that the machines control us and that we have no free will anymore, because it knows what we're going to buy and it writes it, so we buy that thing.
Yeah, it's the Elon Musk scenario, right?
Yes. And I think Elon Musk is going to enjoy it.
No, I don't think so.
No, he says that, but I think he's just actually slightly autistic guy who just likes to mess with the world and see if it burns, you know?
And he's obviously enjoying that.
Yeah, I think so. How many kids has he got now? Like 11, something like that.
Yeah, this is Game of Thrones stuff.
Yeah, that's good. I like him.
I like him as well when he's defending his ideas and views, actually. So I like that, but the rest, well. All right, so there are some more questions coming in. Hello, could you talk? Yeah, TikTok, or, well, we just had one from Jade, so maybe we can do. Hello, could you talk about some key differences between Amazon US and Amazon EU? Well, I would say taxing. Maybe you can shed more light into that, John. So Europe has VAT, US obviously doesn't.
Well, US has sales tax. I think it's just that in Europe your price includes VAT because depending on the country, and also Amazon will auto rebate that VAT in certain marketplaces for certain categories. In Europe, it really depends on the categories. So you might be filing 0 returns in Europe, but in the US now Amazon files your sales tax for you, which is great. So you don't need to worry about it. You get the gross amount coming in, whereas in Europe, it's going to be the amount you get net the VAT, or if they already remit it for you, and if you have to remit it yourself, then you get it, but you still owe that to the local government.
Yeah, and it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. So, I mean, I think if rather than US versus Europe, I think of like North America versus Europe. So in North America, you've got US, which is probably 80% of your sales. If you sell there, then you could do Canada, maybe add an extra 10%, and Mexico, could add an extra 10%. It depends on your products and whether your products sell well in Mexico. But yeah, that's the main thing that I see in terms of tax and getting going over there. It's also easier in the US, isn't it?
It's much easier in the US. A lot of those stuff, because US acts as a single country, and European Union and UK. If we talk about EU only, so then without UK, but Europe with the UK is basically every state is independent, and you need to follow the rules and the tax principles of each and every one of those. So even though if you are, so for example, you are selling in Amazon Germany, but you might have customers from, let's say, Netherlands or Slovakia, Czech Republic, who would like to buy from you, then you need to count in their VAT rates as well. So that's something to keep in mind. I would say the taxes are very different. Then Europe is also, I mean, I would say Europe is playing the hero with green energy and waste recycling and stuff like that. So EPR is also a big difference in Europe. I don't think that's coming to US soon. And then US, I would say, since it's the main market for Amazon, they are innovating at a much quicker pace than Europe. So if you are selling in the US and you are basically, some rules on how it works in the US, and then you come to the Europe, it might be more difficult or more easy for you, depends on what you are used to. But most probably Europe will be at least 1 year behind in terms of the new rules, new processes. Let's say, for example, account health was a huge issue for us in Europe when they implemented the US standard into the Europe. And I mean, some people really struggled. So you guys have a lot of those. It's still not settled in the US, right? They are still doing some more changes into the account health.
Well, I think they're always going to be changing it. I mean, the biggest mess up in Europe was at Brexit, wasn't it? Like, I was selling in Europe at the time back in the day, and Brexit really messed up our cross-border sales. We got stuff stuck in customs for 8 months. Nobody knew what the process was going to be, even though there's 2 years or 3 years or 4 years notice on it. It was 2.5 years, wasn't it, in the end? And then nothing worked. So yeah, I mean, I lost a lot of money because of Brexit, and all of the cross-border tax stuff was just so frustrating.
Yeah, I remember those times. So last question from what I can see would be, could you talk about the deal with TikTok more? I would love to hear both your thoughts. Yeah, you raised that, so maybe if you have.
Well, I raised it because I got someone sent me an article, so I just pulled up the article when I saw that question come in. So let's learn about it together. So what it says is TikTok partners with Amazon for in-app shopping. TikTok's Amazon integration offers advertisers a direct path from viral content to purchase, potentially revolutionizing social e-commerce strategies. So how it works, apparently, Amazon recommends products that appear in users' For You feeds. I'm not a TikTok user, so if you use TikTok, you know what the
Me
For
neither.
You feed is. So you assume you have a For You feed. Users who link their TikTok and Amazon accounts can complete purchases within TikTok. That's super cool. So the app's going to have app-to-app integration where you can one-click buy from there to Amazon. And the integration will show real-time pricing, Prime eligibility, delivery estimates, and product details. So why are they doing this then? Do you think they're doing this so that it basically becomes Amazon getting a certain percentage of their sales, so they're not a monopoly owned by the Chinese anymore, and
I think so.
they're not going to get banned? Yeah.
Yep, I think so. They were doing this with when Amazon started back in '90s. They were doing it with bookstores, obviously. So and with I've heard a story that there was a competition for Amazon for baby products and baby diapers and stuff like that, and they were basically just doing the same stuff because they wouldn't want to sell, so they were doing the same stuff up until the end, where they just had to sell to Amazon. And I would say that this is, first of all, a cool new strategy on how to get more sales. So we could work with advertising team on how to utilize like massively viral TikToks into getting more reviews on Amazon and more sales that could boost like tremendously. And second of all is actually what you said, is like covering their back in terms of the competition from the Chinese, because inevitably what will happen from TikTok eventually, or might happen, is a marketplace, because like many of the TikToks will end up in viral hits and fidget spinners and stuff like that. So that's a good take.
Well, the crazy thing is how big TikTok Shop is already. Like outside of America, America's they started 9 months ago, maybe TikTok Shop. But say I live in Vietnam, and TikTok Shop's been around for a couple of years here. And this crazy story that I've heard of TikTok Shop over here was they do a lot of live stream with somebody like selling dried fish. So, like dried fish, like a beer snack, a snack you eat, eat while drinking beer. So they're like, basically, apparently they were going like, nom, 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 this is great for a drink. They're having a beer, they're eating the dried fish. They do live stream, 4 hours a day. And within 2 months, they sold 150,000 units of dried fish in Vietnam through TikTok. They're $10 each. So that's that $1.5 million worth of product in 2 months through TikTok live streaming in Vietnam.
So that's the strategy.
Yeah. Maybe I should go and eat dried fish on TikTok. Stop with all this agency work.
Yeah, why not? I mean, yeah, I also lived in Vietnam for over a year. Cool. So yeah, and the funny thing is that the dried fish and dried shrimps and dried everything in Vietnam is like everywhere you look. So it doesn't actually, and it doesn't cost $10 per unit.
No.
I would say it's like 20p or maybe something like that. It's like 1,000 dong or something. Yeah, there's one more question, and then we can most probably wrap it up. Who do you think Amazon views as their largest competition? Who do you think will give them a run for their money? It's obviously it's not eBay.
I mean, I think eBay. We're all going to be selling secondhand stuff. Who do you think? I guess Europe is probably very different from the US.
Yeah, it's very different. So in Europe, you need to consider the fact that every state, every country in Europe has their own pros and cons. And since Amazon was quite, I would say, slow in expanding inside Europe, then sorry about the noise. So we would need to talk about what the competition would be. So, for example, for used products, It's no longer only eBay. There are companies such as they're called, for example, there is a marketplace called Refurbed, and that's a competition for Amazon. Or another example would be, not sure if you know Poland. Poland has a marketplace called Allegro, which is just crushing Amazon locally. Like no chance for Amazon there. And it's just because Europe has like I would say traditions, the countries, and well, while Amazon was not here, some other marketplaces grew, and now Amazon, they are already giving them run for their money. So that's basically, if we would talk about local competition and global competition. I don't think, if you look at the sheer data and numbers, there is no competition for Amazon at the moment. Like literally zero. It's like on the graph, it's like Amazon is like here, and the next biggest is just a speck. So far, no competition. I think. What do you think?
I think it's regional, like you said. Like Amazon doesn't exist where I am, so it's a big fight between Shopee and Lazada in Asia, and I think Shopee's the one that's currently winning. They're huge, but yeah, compared to Amazon, they're not that big because Amazon's just everywhere right now. I think in the US, apparently Walmart's really catching up, so they're thinking maybe they see Walmart as a competitor. But yeah, it's going to be interesting when they launch in other countries like where I am, seeing if they manage to get traction, because it's a very different market. It's fine when you have a good delivery infrastructure and everything arrives on time, but when you're in a market where you have to build the infrastructure, I think they're a bit slower there.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be like the Poland or Netherlands or Sweden, where it just didn't catch up. And yeah, Vietnam, that would be so Shopee now. When I was there, it was Lazada all the way.
Yeah, Shopee's now ahead of Lazada. I mean, I personally am a Lazada fan because they have more stuff you can get direct from China. So anything I see like a Facebook ad for, like, you're scrolling Facebook or whatever, and you see something, this looks cool, and there's some guys like us selling stuff online through Facebook, through ads. You're like, what's that? What would I search for the generic keywords for that? So I go on Lazada, search the generic keywords, and if I want it, I can get it for a fifth of the price direct from China, which is super useful. But my wife, she uses Shopee because Shopee arrives somewhere between 2 hours and a day later. They've got 2-hour delivery in the major cities now, so it'll arrive same day.
And this is just my personal question: are they using Grab, or like are they implementing these infrastructures into delivering, or they have like their own stuff?
They have their own. Everyone has their own infrastructure because they need to track everything. And because there's a lot of cash on delivery. That's the big issue in Asia. Like there's a lot of cash on delivery because people previously didn't have so many cards and didn't trust. But now people trust a lot more. So there's a lot more app-based payment and card-based payment. So if Amazon comes in after all that's happened, then Amazon can maybe grow quite quickly because they don't have to bother building up an army of delivery drivers and infrastructure and all that kind of stuff.
It's interesting. So last question for today, if there is not anything else, would be, what Amazon trend do you think is going to die out soon? Well, obviously it's not going to be like the infringements in appeals. In account help, because they obviously like it very much. It's a trend. So that's gonna continue. If anything happens, just reach out to Sellercandy. They will help with that. What trends are going to die out soon? Do you know any like trends, obvious?
One potential one. So as of October 24th, Amazon is really tightening up their reimbursement process. So, we have a reimbursement service at Sellercandy. It's called Refundify, refundify.io. So refundify.io. And what we do is we help people get money back that Amazon hasn't given them in their account. There are a bunch of other providers in the industry. But from October 24th, Amazon is cutting the refund window from 18 months to 2 months. So if you haven't done any reclaims by that time, you lose those 16 months of revenue. So anyone that hasn't done it should do it immediately. And then they're going to automate 2 of the main types of reimbursements, which is going to actually really help people going forward. So they're going to get like 80% of the money that that was held by Amazon back, which I think was just a lawsuit waiting to happen in the US, like a class action lawsuit waiting to happen. So that's great. But I think that's going to mean that a lot of services like ours, like our side service, Refundify, are not going to, are either going to scale back massively or just implode towards the end of this year. Luckily we're a smaller service, so we'll ride it out and we'll be fine, but make less money. I'm really interested to see what happens in the general marketplace for Amazon reimbursement services as time goes forward. But if you haven't done it, go and check out Refundify, because you're missing out on a load of money which you need to claim by October. Otherwise, it's gone forever.
Right. You guys should do that, definitely. So at this moment, personally, I cannot think of any Amazon trend that they are not pushing other than what John said. So most probably they are not going to be trends that are dying out. And I would say that before the season, there will be even more weird trends on Amazon that will come up rather than die out. So that's basically what I would have to say to that.
Nice.
All right then, guys. Do you have anything more to add, John? If not,
no. Only thing I would add would be, if you're interested in help with dealing with all the stuff on Amazon you don't want to do, which is dealing with seller support, filing cases, plans of action, check out Sellercandy.com. There's a place there where you can book a call with one of our advisors to see if you're a good fit to work with us, because that's the thing to do. The other thing is that we have a guide to help you on your way from being an operator to a business owner. It's called the 7 Steps from Operator to Owner in Your Amazon Business. If you'd like to check that out, all you need to do is go to Sellercandy.com/7 steps, number 7 STEPS, if you want to download that guide and see where you are on the scale from 1 to 7 on your way to becoming an owner and just sipping cocktails on the beach.
That's great. Thanks for that. If you would like to check our website, it's EXPANDO, so expand.do. And we help with like full service agency and expanding the business. I mean, the brand or the shop between countries. So I would end it with that. Thank you so much for your time, John, and see you on the next Q&A, guys.
See ya.
See ya.